Tennis is fun, given ways you can practice at home. I took a hula hoop. I'm going to put it, this is a hide a bed, but I'm going to take it and just put this hula hoop against the arm in the couch. And now I'm going to practice my forehand. And so you see, notice how I'm just kind of lifting motion. It's an upward motion. Of course, you can swing across. You can turn a hula hoop the other way and just practice going across like this. That would be a good way to practice also, okay? A lot has to do with your hand-eye coordination. Here's an upward motion, and we have an upward motion. It's going to create spin. You think of a Ferris wheel. You think of, a bicycle tire. And here's the example of a hula hoop. And so here I can practice, some lifting motion. I'm not so much concerned about my feet right now. I just kind of, you can hit open stance, closed stance, but more just practicing lifting motion, that upward motion, and so it's a great way of practicing. A lot of times people don't get below the level of the ball. They hit up here in this zone. Instead of, think of baseball, you start zoning your knees all the way to your shoulders, and it's hard to hit up here, so you got to practice up there too. Later on I'll show you how to do that too. But here I just practice lifting, and it's a lifting motion. Like I say, you see the Ferris wheel type of motion, or a 10-speed bike. When you think about, or 20-speed bike or whatever. The old Schwinn bikes had the big wheel, the wheels, and it's upward motion. And so you have an upward motion, and so it's a great way to practice. Doing something like this at home. Just a little creative tip. If you're going to play tennis in the spring or in the fall, you have to find ways to practice on a rainy day, or in Wisconsin when it's snow outside, a cold day. And so you want to learn how to practice. And whatever I do, I practice one hand. I'll also practice two hands. Okay. And so I like to practice one hand and then also two hands. So here's a forehand, and now I got a backhand, a two-handed forehand here. Okay, remember Pancho Segura's, you gotta use a two-handed forehand. Great short video you can look up on YouTube. Just only about 30 seconds, but it's fantastic. Okay, great player. And so when you think about here, you can also practice with your backhand. Okay, left-handed backhand. And so you just practice. Now if I turn around, then I can switch around, and I like to do ambidextrous, so I strengthen both arms. Okay, and so here's a great way of practicing. Then add the extra hand. Okay. Sometimes what I'll do is there was a guy that used to use cross his arms, and he had a two-handed forehand and two-handed backhand. His name Phil. I don't know. I'm trying to think of McMillan or something. He great doubles player, and so he would cross arms, and he'd hit his backhand or forehand cross hand. Okay, and he'd come over here. Man, it must have been great to watch him. And so it's a great way. I think there's a guy named Solomon that hits an incredible forehand, two-handed forehand. And so there's a variety of ways that you can practice. So I encourage you to be creative, have fun, strengthen both arms. That way if you ever get injured in one arm, you can always turn around and play with the other arm. And I've done that too. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this little tip. One little tip that also before I close is just get a brush. And so it's a great way to feel when you talk about brushing up. It's a great way to get the idea. It's a great way to go like this when you serve, brushing up. Okay, the upward motion over topspin, you get the feel. Okay, and so I'm always looking for ways that I can practice. And brushes, it's just probably haven't seen a brush like this, but it's a great way of practicing. I hope this is helpful to you to practice at home.